This senior class pulled a crazy prank. One night before school, they sent a few people out to pet stores to buy buckets and buckets of crickets. Oh, we got this. This is gonna be the best prank ever. Then, right before lunch, they poured buckets of crickets into any trash can they could find. Well, that day during lunch, a fight broke out. People were pushing and shoving each other. Hey, wait a minute. A crowd begins to form. And amidst all this chaos, these garbage cans got knocked over. And I guess the crickets that had been sitting in there saw this as an opportunity to go crazy. So now there's this wave, this swarm of crickets just going all over the place, and people are freaking out. It turns into chaos. Nobody knows why there's an army of crickets, and somebody pulls a fire alarm. Within minutes, the school loses complete control. And at the end of the day, pest control was there trying to fix the situation, trying to get rid of all these crickets, and I guess they did their best. Weeks go by, then months, and crickets are still showing up. In classrooms, in lockers. Years later, every so often, you could hear them at night in the ceiling, all because of one senior prank. And honestly, that's legendary. He was trying to impress a girl. Yeah, I'm freaking strong. Okay. So, to try and impress her, he was gonna punch this kid that was standing right by him. Watch this. But what he didn't know is that kid was quick. And as the punch began to fly towards his face, he ducked. But that kid was standing right in front of a concrete wall. So the dude that was punching him's hand went straight into it. Ah! Oh! His wrist is completely broken. Teachers come running, a crowd gathers, and both kids were pulled aside. The dude that broke his wrist was taken to the nurse's office, and the other kid was taken to the principal's office. We don't tolerate fighting in this school. I didn't fight, he just tried to punch me. Yeah, well, he broke his wrist. Well, what did you want me to do? Not move out of the way? Yes, your face is softer than the wall. And that kid got suspended. That is not okay. This mom spent 5 years telling everybody in town that her son was a monster. He cut me off. He hasn't talked to me in years. She would go on Facebook and post these long, crying rants about how family is everything and how she didn't understand why her own flesh and blood would just stop speaking to her. I'm a heartbroken saint of a mother. She was really making herself the victim. I just don't get it. I gave him life, and now he won't even answer a text. I've done nothing but love him. Well, her son eventually caught wind of all of this, and he decided he was done being the villain in this story. He finally posted a comment on one of his mom's crazy posts. He didn't write much. It was a simple question. Hey mom, glad you're doing well. Quick question, where's my Honda? People commented. The truth finally came out. A few years back, her son let her borrow his car because her transmission was out and she needed to get around for a few days. But the day he dropped it off, all right mom, keys are on the ignition. I'm gonna get an Uber back home. You're all set. Thank you, son. Well, that day she didn't drive it to work. She drove it straight to a car dealership. And it wasn't a formal car dealership. It was some random guy. And she sold it to him. Yeah, I'll take it. Here you go. She then used that money to put towards a new car for herself. Why on earth would you do this? I needed something reliable. You're young. You can walk. I can't believe you. But she got mad at him. She said that, oh, quit complaining. You should be happy for me. But obviously, he wasn't. And that's why he never talked to her. Good reason. They're going on a family trip, and their flight is at 5 in the morning. That's so early, Dad. It's just for 3 days. Pack your backpack. You'll be fine. Backpack. He nods. He packs his backpack. His parents don't check it. They assume he's got it. We'll fast forward to the next morning. They're standing in the security line. Shoes off, laptops out. The dad's stressing. I'm stressing. The kid steps up to put his backpack in the conveyor belt, and he tells the security guy, there's a surprise in there. The guy's like, excuse me? There's a surprise in there for everybody. Hey, yo, what? At this point, the security guard's like, yo, what the heck does this kid have in his backpack? They pull the kid to the side. They pull the backpack away. The mom is like, oh my God, what did you pack in there? You'll see. Security guard unzips the backpack. His face changes. Son, what did you pack? You, come here. Okay. What the heck is this? Inside the backpack was dozens and dozens of rubber duckies. Tiny, bright yellow, each one wearing a different outfit. Sir, ma'am, your child packed about 200 rubber ducks. You can have one. So can your friend. Everybody can have one. Everybody around starts laughing, and the kid passes out these rubber duckies to as many people as he can. And honestly, that is super wholesome. Sleep over at his friend's house. They're chilling in his friend's bedroom. Come here. Gotcha. Oh, man, you win again. Well, this kid turns his head for a second, and he sees his friend's grandma standing in the doorway just staring at him. At first he's like, okay, this guy's grandma's pretty weird, but I'm not gonna say anything. A little while later, this kid goes down to the kitchen to grab a drink. He gets in, opens the fridge, he feels that weird feeling that someone's watching him, then he closes the fridge, and the grandma's right there. Nah. It's like she appeared out of nowhere. He heads back upstairs to hang out with his friend, and they close the door this time. His friend says, hey yo, my dad's gonna run me to the store real quick to buy something for school tomorrow. You good here? Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm tired. I'm probably just gonna like take a nap here, close my eyes. Alright, I'll be back in a second. Kid closes his eyes and he's just dozing off for a little bit. That's when he feels the mattress shift. He opens his eyes. Oh. The grandma's sitting on the edge of the bed with her fingers crossed, looking at him politely. Hello, I'm Grandma. I am Grandma. Hi, Grandma. Hi. I'm gonna get a cookie. You want one? Sure. Okay. Shh. Don't tell the family. And she goes away. She never comes back with the cookie, but his friend returns. What's up, bro? Yo, bro, what's up with your grandma, man? She's like stalking me. Oh, she just does that, man. She likes to know where everybody is at all times. I think she was watching me sleep. Oh, well, you're lucky. How am I lucky? After that night, he never sleeps over there ever again. There was this kid named Silas who hadn't spoken since the 6th grade. Silas went 3 years without making a sound, until he ended up in Mr. Garrett's algebra class. I'm Mr. Garrett. Now, Mr. Garrett was a notorious power tripper, loved picking on kids for no reason. Well, that particular day, he was really laying into this kid named Leo. Well, are you stupid, Leo? I asked you for the answer 10 minutes ago. Stand up. Sit down. Now, Leo was a freshman, and he had a stutter. And on that day, he was clearly on the verge of a full-blown panic attack. The teacher was being ruthless. And the class was silent as well. They were like, this is super uncomfortable. Teacher's still laying into him. How did you even get through middle school? You are the dumbest student I've had in years. Well, that's when the class heard a scrape, like someone's chair being pushed out. It's Silas, and he's standing up now. Silas, sit back down. This does not involve you. Silas didn't sit down. He walked right to the front of the room. He stood between the teacher and the kid, and he spoke for the first time in 3 years. He's not the one who's stupid, Mr. Garrett. A good teacher doesn't need to bully a 15-year-old to feel powerful. So there's something weird about you. Mr. Garrett was so stunned because this kid hadn't spoken all year that he just sat down, stunned in his seat. Silas never spoke at school again for the rest of the year, and he didn't have to, because everyone already knew. Started over a jelly donut. No, that's my donut. I bought it. It was the last one. Yeah, but I was technically in line before you. Yeah, but then you went to the bathroom because you had to take a dump. Steven, you told her? It's the truth. They argue and argue. They start shoving. Then the donut drops on the floor and somebody steps on it. It's no good. It turned into this big thing. Apparently, the school had began picking sides. Nobody even knows what it's about. So now it's two large groups of people. At the front are the two girls, and they just start brawling. And the kids who aren't involved are just watching, like, dude, this is messed up, we gotta leave. Okay, let's go. Well, as those two try to leave the cafeteria, two plainclothes cops come in. You're not going anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere. But by this point, it was out of control. The large fighting crowd makes its way outside, and now they're fighting in front of the school. Hundreds of kids shouting, fighting, people recording it. The security guard gets knocked over. Ouch! Ouch! Somebody pulls the frickin' fire alarm, and that's when it happens. Like 10 cop cars just storm in. They get out of their car. They're wearing helmets and shields, and that's when all the students realized, oh, we should probably stop. But everyone that was involved in the fighting got into huge trouble. Let's just say for the next week, attendance was very low. This kid rode his bike to a grocery store. Yeah. He's using some of his summer job paycheck money to buy some snacks, chips, and sweets. He buys them, goes outside, and sets down the bag while he's unlocking his bike. Yeah, set you right here, unlock the bike. When he unlocks his bike and looks around, the bag is missing. Where is it? That's when he sees this kid, younger than him, stuffing the stuff in his backpack. The kid runs home. Yo, what the heck? That's it, I'm gonna follow him. He takes his bike and follows this kid to his house. Knocks on the door. The mom answers. Yes? He stays calm. Yeah, your son took my stuff. I got some groceries and some snacks. I saw him put it in his backpack and run away. I just want it back. My kid would never steal. I saw him do it. If you don't leave my house right now, I'm calling the police because of harassment. Well, he doesn't leave. They call the police, and 5 minutes later, the cops show up. They hear both sides. They then say, kid, open your backpack, please. Okay. And there the stuff was. Chips, sweets, everything. Yeah. Give it back, please. Give him the stuff back. Cops leave, the mom shuts the door in this kid's face, and they go their separate ways. But that's so embarrassing for that mom. That kid didn't learn anything, because a couple days later, he went to the guy's house that he stole stuff from, and he threw eggs at it. What a little jerk. Senior prank was to fork the lawn, which means sticking forks all over the school's lawn. You see, at this one particular school, they used real silverware, and the seniors have been planning it for a long time. Alright guys, we have 3 months. Whenever you get the chance, steal a fork. You got it, Johnny. Brilliant plan, old chap. Every lunch period, they would be taking these forks secretly, and they were doing it slowly so it seemed like a natural disappearance of silverware. But by the end of spring, the seniors had hundreds of forks. And no other class knew. Then the night before their last day of school, they came to campus, quiet. And they took all of these forks, and they shoved them into the lawn, evenly spread apart. And there were so many forks. By the time they were done, the grass looked like it had grown metal hair. It's beautiful. Bro, take that wig off. And the next day, administration went crazy. And the thing was, there was only one custodian left for that school year. This older guy. My name's Mr. Johnny. Hey, Mr. Johnny, can you please pull these forks out of the lawn? I don't want anybody tripping. Oh, okay. And then there he was, down on his hands and knees, pulling these forks out of the grass. Hundreds of them. Bending, sweating, he's working alone. A teacher finally came in to try to help him. Hey, Mr. Johnny, you can... That's when he saw his face. Mr. Johnny was crying. Thank you. That prank then went down in school history, but nobody ever talked about the guy that had to clean it all up. Hey, respect Mr. Johnny. In 4th grade, these two kids decided to ruin someone's life. They didn't mean to, though. It started as a joke. They stayed after class one day, laughing, scribbling in notebook paper. JT, I've been in love with you forever. That's good, that's good. But they didn't sign their names on it. They signed this one girl's. She was a quiet girl, and JT was the class clown. They finished writing the note, and they folded it up. They then put it in JT's desk, and they left. Forgot about it. Until the next morning, they walk into class, and JT is standing up, reading this note. JT, I've been in love with you forever. You make my heart go boom, boom, boom. What? He reads every word, and when he's done, everyone turns to this girl. I didn't write that, I swear. I didn't write that. Nobody believes her. Everyone thinks it's real. She has a full-blown meltdown, and she leaves the classroom. And the two kids stare at their desks. The next few days, she is bullied relentlessly. And one of the boys that wrote the note couldn't take it. Hey, it was me that wrote the note. Me and Kyle. We are so sorry. Why would you do that to me? My life has been horrible this week. I'm so sorry. I'll try to make it right. Those two then announced in front of that entire class that it was actually them, and that people should please be nice to this girl. But it wasn't as easy as that. People still made fun of her, and they realized that even a simple joke could follow somebody around for years. So be careful what you do, and be careful who you do it to. Be nice, everybody. It's a big family birthday party. All the cousins are the same age, around middle school. There's cake everywhere, balloons, pizza crusts on the couch. By 8 p.m., the party's over. The adults are done. One of the aunts says, all right, kids, that's a party. Nobody's leaving till we all help clean up. One cousin says, no, I'm not cleaning this. I gotta go home, man. I mean, I don't want to clean it either, but what do we do? I have an idea. That cousin then just drops to the ground. Full body collapse right on the floor, and everyone's screaming, oh my God, Corey! Corey, wake up! The kid's not moving at all. One of the cousins is like, okay, bro, joke's over, stop. But Corey is just committing to this. His eyes are closed, he's limp, he's silent while people are shaking him. Come on, Corey, get up, get up. What he didn't know was one of his uncles was in the kitchen and called 911. So now, paramedics burst into the house. Where is he? Where is he? That's when he's like, I'm better now. Everybody explodes. The parents are furious. The cousins are like, bro, that was way too far. He's grounded for months. The ambulance leaves, and now all the cousins are forced to clean up double time. They didn't just have to clean up from the party. They had to now clean all the bathrooms and rake the yard. It was insane. So his little bit to get him out of cleaning made things 10 times worse. He robbed the teacher's lounge for months, in broad daylight during biology. He would leave class and walk straight into the teacher's lounge with so much confidence. He'd open the freezer, see what's in there, take an ice cream sandwich, open the fridge, take somebody else's lunch. If there were chips on the table, he'd grab like 7 bags. And he would literally nod at the teachers while he was taking their stuff. He was acting so confident, they didn't even question it. They assumed that he was there for a reason. That was the trick. And he would stand there having conversations. Mr. Johnson, your test was freaking brutal last week. I know I felt bad, but you did pretty good on it. You got a B, right? Yeah, it could have been an A, though. I'm just gonna grab this and leave. Take care. Literally talking to this teacher while he's stealing another teacher's apple, banana, granola bar. And it worked for months. Until one day, one person decided to finally question him. It was the vice principal. Yo, what are you doing in here? All that confidence and swagger, and he never decided to think of a story of why he would belong there. So he was busted and suspended for 5 days. The second grader decides, I want to do something nice for my teacher. So one morning before school, she's outside and she picks a few apple blossoms. Enough to hold in one hand, and she was going to give it to her teacher. She's going to love this. She carries them all the way to school. And when it's time, she walks up to her teacher's desk. I got these for you. Now you would think the teacher would be like, oh my goodness, thank you. But where'd you get these? From a tree? Well, that's when the teacher snaps. You pulled these from somebody's tree in their yard. You stole them. No, I didn't. No, I don't want to hear a single word from you. I'm tearing these flowers up. I'm throwing them away. You need to learn about rules, young lady. This is disgraceful. Sit down. Absolutely heartbreaking. This girl just wanted to do something nice and the teacher flipped out. Later that day during recess, her older sibling finds her. She was crying alone. Oh my God, what happened? She explains the situation. Well, he was ticked off. He storms inside and he yells at that teacher. What'd you say to my sister? She was trying to do something nice for you today. You know where she got those flowers? From our backyard. Yeah, the flowers were their family's. She didn't steal them from anybody. The older brother then got a detention for yelling at a teacher, but he doesn't care. Because the way that teacher treated his little sister was unacceptable. That's a good brother. That's a bad teacher. This teacher sucks. It's the first day of geometry, the class she's supposed to teach. And the first day, she drops a test onto every single desk. Let's see what you already know. People finish, they hand them in, she grades them, and then she calls up 2 names. You 2, stay after. Everybody thinks they're in trouble, but they're not. Those were the 2 that got the top scores on that test. The next day, the teacher hands those 2 a packet. The packet has chapters in it, examples, and answer keys. The rest of the class gets nothing. She then tells these 2 students, since you 2 got the highest score on the test, you'll be helping me teach this class all semester. And they did. They would follow this packet on what to teach every single day. The next Monday, they would get a new packet. And while these 2 kids are teaching, she is sitting at her desk playing solitaire on her freaking computer. Eventually, kids start asking hard questions. Hey, so why is it this way in number 12 when it's supposed to be the Pythagorean theorem? Don't look at me, this is your lesson. She would literally never help. Weeks go by. If the 2 smart kids get sick, it's a movie day. And if the 2 smart kids are confused about a lesson, so is everybody else. She literally did absolutely nothing. And that was the last year she taught at that school. Good. Every kid at this one school got a Chromebook. It was for homework, and they were allowed to take it home. Well, this one kid's mom wanted to punish her kids one day, so she took away the Chromebook so they wouldn't have access to the internet. Mom, I need the Chromebook. I don't care. I'm locking it up until your behavior improves. Okay, well, now, naturally, this kid's grades begin to sink because he doesn't have the Chromebook or the internet to do his homework every night. So the mom gets mad again. Your grades are absolutely horrible. Mom, you took the computer. I don't want to hear it. So the mom installs locks on this kid's bedroom door. And it wasn't like a cheap lock. It was a fingerprint lock. So if he wanted to sleep, he had to ask for permission. The mom also changed the house locks as well to only open for her fingerprint. So someday he would get home from school and he would have to wait outside. This is horrible. I hate my life. He explained to his teachers what was going on at home, and they tried calling the mom and talking some sense into her, but the mom always said, I know better than the school, I know better than you teachers, I know better than anyone, okay? This went on from when he was 14 to 18 years old. At 18, he moved out of the house immediately. And now the mom, of course, is like, hi, it's your mom. Why don't you come see me anymore? You never visit. He never visits. I wonder why. He had a crush on this girl for months. They were in the same last period class. Hey, what's up, Carla? Hey, Bryce. Well, 3 days before Valentine's Day, he decides he's done being scared. So instead of just asking her out like a normal person, he buys one of those school singing Valentines. $10, one singer, he comes to your class and sings to your crush. All set? Thank you. You got it. Now it's the night before Valentine's Day. His phone rings. Hello? Yo, dude, she has a freaking boyfriend. Oh, man. So now he panics. That next morning, he tries to cancel. But it's too late. No refunds, and everyone's already been sent out. Well, it's last period. He's sitting there praying that they ran out of time and that somehow his order would be skipped. 10 minutes left in class. Please, please, please. And here this guy comes. We have a singing Valentine here for Lady Erickson. Oh, that's my last name. That's me. And he begins. Wild thing, you make his heart sing. He's in love with you. Or something like that. I don't know the song, but it goes on for a good 45 seconds. Yay! Now, she obviously assumes this is from her boyfriend, but then he hands her the card. And here is the card from your Valentine. She opens it up. Bryce? I didn't know that you... I have a boyfriend, you frickin' creep. Wait till I tell him about this. You're done for. After that class, he rushes out of the door into the buses, and he goes home. And he said that was the most embarrassing day of his entire life. Yeah. This girl's in 8th grade. She's tiny, pretty short. Like, she barely comes up to anybody's shoulders. Well, her dad is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu teacher, and he taught her jiu-jitsu when she was very young. I want you to be able to defend yourself, sweetie. Only if you need to. And she was really good at it. She had these skills, but she never had to use it until one day. This senior dude won't leave her alone. Hey, what's up? So, what are you doing? Hey, what's happening? Get away from me. He's getting in her face. The teachers see this, but they don't do anything. Bruh. He then grabs her arm really hard. Hey, get back here. And that's when it ends. One clean move. And this kid's on the floor, knocked out. The hallway is dead silent now. Everyone's watching. Well, here's the wild part. That kid goes home that night, and this kid's parents lose it. They demand a meeting. They say that their son was attacked. They want the girl expelled. And the school sides with them until her dad stands up. My daughter isn't going anywhere. I was walking around earlier. I see cameras in every single hallway. Why don't we run it back to see what really happened? And if you still think my daughter should be expelled, I'm gonna sue this entire school and him for assault. And this dad was intense. They believed him. Then it switched. This girl was not getting expelled. Instead, the guy does. Good on her for sticking up for herself, and good on the dad for being awesome. It snowed heavily overnight. It's now early morning, and this retired guy is snow blowing his driveway. Milk, milk, milk. He clears his driveway, then he does his neighbors to the left, and then his neighbors to the right. He usually does those, just as a neighborly, friendly thing, because they're also old. He parks the machine, goes inside, and puts on The Sopranos. Hey, gabagool. Tony's gabagool. The doorbell rings. He opens it, and it's a woman from like 5 doors down. She just moved in. Hi, why haven't you done our driveway yet? I'm gonna be late for work. I saw you do these two. When's ours gonna be done? Ma'am, this is not a service. I do a favor for these two because they're old, like me, but I still got my good knees. I'm sorry. You would think she'd be like, oh my gosh, how dumb of me. How dare I assume that you're gonna do our driveway? But no. Well, we're your neighbors too. Can you please snow blow our driveway? He's standing there, appalled. No. Slams the door in her face, goes back to his chair, and presses play to resume The Sopranos. Hey, Tony Soprano. Gabagool. That lady's out of her mind. There was this kid in middle school who was so fast at taking tests. He would always finish before everybody else. Done. Math test, first one done. History quiz, sped through it. One day it was a Scantron test, and he finishes it in less than 10 minutes. It then gets graded, and the teacher comes over. Hey, you, nobody finishes a 60-question test in under 10 minutes. You cheated. I did not. The class is quiet. The two of them argue for a long time. The principal gets involved, and finally, fine, you know what? You stay after school, we're taking this test. Just you, me, and the principal in the same room. And what she does is she switches the answers on the Scantron. So it's different now. Well, after school, he sits down, he gets a different version of this test, and he goes. In 7 minutes, he's done. Done. Grades it on the spot. Another 100%. But this isn't possible. Mrs. Johnson, I think he's just really smart. You're good to go home, buddy. The teacher doesn't even apologize, but she never accused him of stuff ever again. And even though she saw it with her own eyes, for the rest of the year, she still never fully trusted him. He's just a genius. They had just moved into a house in the woods. All right, family, here we are. Go check the place out. We're gonna be so happy here. So they only been there for a few weeks. Every once in a while, some wild turkeys would show up in the yard. 5, maybe 6 of them, and they would just wander around. Nobody thought anything of it. Hey, look, kids, the turkeys are back. Yay! Well, Thanksgiving comes around, and although there are turkeys by the house, this guy doesn't hunt one, he goes to the store and buys one. He cooks the turkey, the table's all set, and now the dining room table is right in front of this giant window. Well, he puts the cooked turkey down, he grabs his carving knife, and he starts to carve this turkey. Okay. Well, as he's deep into the carving, he looks up and out the window. I kid you not, there were 15, maybe 20 wild turkeys lined up, staring directly inside this guy's window as he's carving the turkey he just cooked. What is happening? Honey, I'm hungry. Is food almost ready? Sweetie, look. They're watching us. What? He lowers the knife, takes the turkey, brings it into another room where there are no windows, and he finishes carving it there. And then once this guy moved to a different room, one by one, those turkeys went back into the woods. That is wild. He pre-ordered a cake for his mom's birthday. Okay, I'll pick it up soon. It was a custom order. He walks into the bakery, gives the pickup name, Carlos. Okay, I have your cake right here. Then a woman steps closer to him. Hi, that's a really nice cake. It is, right? Can I have it? No, sorry, it's a custom-made cake. But custom-made cakes take so long, I want yours. The guy just turns his back to walk away, but this woman turns him around. Okay. No, don't walk away from me. Excuse me? Give me that cake right now. Absolutely not. It's my mom's birthday cake. Well, me and my kid want it more than your mom. This guy sees the kid buyer and looks at him. Leave me honest. The kid doesn't even care. The worker comes over. Hey, what's going on in here? I want that cake. The worker says no, so this woman tackles the guy. Hey man, run! Take your cake and get out of here! The guy then escapes the shop with the cake, while this woman and the worker are fighting on the floor. The cops were called, and that woman was arrested. But seriously, who crashes out that hard over a cake? Doesn't make any sense to me. She's nuts. This elementary school banned Pokemon cards, especially the trading of Pokemon cards. Too distracting, too many arguments, it was a big problem. Teachers started confiscating them at the door. So for the first week it was pretty quiet. But then one kid one day shows up with stacks of something else. Rectangles of construction paper, laminated in clear tape. And each of the construction papers had something random drawn on it. Come here. I made my own trading cards. He made his own trading cards. Thousands of them. So what he did is he created a formula, and then he just repeated that, like cards of a mailbox, a broken pencil, a rock with a smiley face on it. And on the back he would write stuff like trash can, 100 HP, wet sock, ultra rare, milk, super ultra rare. And he called them real world cards. He would sit at home for hours, cutting, measuring, drawing, making sure that only a few packs had the milk or the wet socks. And he would sell these packs at school, $5 each. People laughed at first, but they started taking this seriously when someone pulled a golden fire hydrant. There was only one golden fire hydrant card that existed in these packs. And so students started wondering, what other rare cards were they? And business began booming. It became a bigger problem than the Pokemon cards, and the school tried shutting it down. But this kid kept making them and selling them. And because it was only construction paper, colored pencils, and tape, he could do this anywhere. People started making counterfeits, so he had to figure out how to show that his were legit. It was insane. Eventually, the school found a way to shut this down as well. But for some time, this kid created the biggest trading card game that school had ever seen. Even bigger than Pokemon. The biggest, burliest guy finds a baby squirrel in his yard. Oh my god, it's a baby squirrel. This dude's an ex-trucker, built like a linebacker. He hears a tiny squeaking sound in the grass. Hey little guy, come with me. I'm bringing you inside. He takes the baby squirrel inside, and he begins to bottle feed it milk. Yeah, drink up. It's good for you. He carries this squirrel around in his shirt pocket, day after day, taking care of it. Raising it. Well, one day he tries to release it back into the wild where he thinks it belongs. Go on.
Squeak, squeakin', squeak, squeakity.
I said go on. But the squirrel refuses to leave. Every time he sets the squirrel down, the squirrel crawls right back up and sits on his shoulder. I guess you're staying with me. So he keeps it. Meanwhile, this guy also has 4 Pomeranian dogs. So this entire time, the squirrel was raised with these dogs. At night, the squirrel sleeps in the dog pile. When people come over, the dogs all race to the door, but so does the squirrel. Rufus, Spot, Marlowe, Steven. Oh, there he is, Nutty! To this day, that squirrel is this guy's best friend. The dogs are too. But hey, that's amazing. He's a grown man, afraid of frogs. He can't go fishing. He won't walk near a pond. If a nature documentary shows a frog, nope. If he sees a cartoon frog on a commercial, hey, turn this off. If he's at a pet store, he will not walk down the aisle where the frogs are. I'm not going down there. Don't make me go down there. And nobody understands it. One night, he's chilling with a friend, and his friend finally asks him, hey, bro, I always meant to ask you, what's your deal with frogs? He laughs it off at first. Then he goes quiet. He says it started when he was 8 years old. It was summer. He was at the pond behind his grandma's house. Him and his cousin were messing around near the water. When his cousin scoops something up, whoa, it was a frog. He then throws it at him. Catch! Before he could react, that frog hits him right in the chest. Splat! And it's stuck there, clinging to his shirt. He slowly looks down and he sees the frog staring right up at him. To this day, he swears that the frog blinked once and said this, you would look better in a top hat. He freaked out. He shoved that frog off his shirt and he ran home. So yeah, that's what happened. That's so dumb. Obviously, his buddy didn't believe him, but he knows what he saw and he knows what he heard. And to this day, he is still terrified of frogs. That's nuts. Parents bought a house from a guy that owned a bowling alley, and the garage was stacked floor to ceiling with old wooden bowling pins, like surrounding the garage 10 feet high. So whenever they lit a fire in the fireplace, his dad would say the same thing. Hey son, go grab me a pin. Okay, sure thing, Pops. Then his dad would use that wooden bowling pin to start a fire in the fireplace, and to him, that was normal. Bowling pins equaled logs. Well, years later, he's at his first sleepover at his friend's house. It's a cold night, and the friend's dad wants to start a fireplace in the fire. Okay, everyone, I'm gonna start a fire. Well, this kid sees this as a moment that he can help. He wants to be helpful, so he stands up immediately. Cool, I'll help. Where do you keep your bowling pins? Bro, what? They were all confused, like, what do you mean, where do you keep your bowling pins, you freaking weirdo? The dad finally laughs and explains to him that people can just use logs to start a fire, not bowling pins. And that's when it hit him. He was the weird one. His entire childhood fireplace experience was insane. And then he watched his friend's dad light a regular log in the fireplace, and he was disappointed. Because he said, bowling pins, they burned better. That's crazy. Started small. This kid brought a few things from home that day. A headphones, a hoodie, and some random collectibles. And somebody jokingly goes, I'll trade you my Jordans for those headphones. He says, okay. And that's the moment it clicks. The next day he comes to school and that duffel bag he brought of stuff is heavier. And he starts telling people during lunch to meet him in the bathroom. And everything he had was up for trade. Okay guys, line up. Here's what I got. What do you got? And the value is negotiated right there on the spot. A hoodie for a watch for AirPods, AirPods for a portable speaker shaped like SpongeBob SquarePants, a portable speaker shaped like SpongeBob SquarePants for a porcelain plate that someone stole from their grandma's house that's worth a lot of money. Okay, I think we all did good today. We happy? Yep. Perfect. Milk. By week 3, there's a huge line of people holding random objects trying to trade with this kid, because the best part is you were never sure what he was going to bring. Some of the stuff that was traded included shoes in a plastic bag, electronics, gift cards, jewelry. Bro, that's a PlayStation 5. I know. Now, say you wanted something nice, but the thing you had to trade didn't equal the value. Okay, I'll trade you this for that, but tomorrow you gotta bring me something else to make it even. Deal. So now there's credit on the line. And that's when it gets dangerous, because if someone didn't follow up with their end of the deal, there was arguing, fights, full-blown bathroom brawls. And then came the bandits. Bigger kids that stormed into the bathroom one day and stole everything. Hey, Pipsqueak, give us the stuff. I knew I should have hired security. That's another lesson. Always hire security. The school then gets involved in a pretty major way. Suspensions, confiscations, meetings with parents who are finding out for the first time that their kid traded their family heirloom for a freaking SpongeBob speaker. That bathroom was closed down for the rest of the year. But nobody ever forgot that underground trading post in the school bathroom. In elementary school, this guy had one friend. I have one friend. It's me. But the thing is, this kid got bullied a lot. So whenever his friend hung out with him at school, his friend would also get bullied. Dude, whenever I hang out with you, your bully also bullies me. I know, I'm sorry. So they made a rule. They wouldn't hang out at school. They wouldn't hang out at recess. They weren't friends in class. They only hung out after school where nobody could see them. That's messed up. So at school, this kid was pretty much alone. Well, one day during recess, a popular kid asked him if he wanted to kick a ball around. Hey bro, you want to play kickball with me? Sure. This was completely out of nowhere. He was shocked. This never happened to him. Well, they started actually having fun. That's when the popular kid said this. Dude, this is fun, man. You're not as bad as your friend says you are. What? Turns out that kid's friend was bullying him behind his back, starting bad rumors about how bad of a guy he was, being a complete two-faced jerk. He stopped talking to his friend altogether, even after school. And he actually became pretty good friends with the popular guy. Hey, what's up, Carl? Bro, leave us alone, man. We're having a conversation. Yeah, jerk. What a horrible friend. For almost a year, this kid kept reporting the same bully to the office. He beat me up again. And every single time, the school staff reacted the same way. Okay, we'll look into it. He's just being dramatic. And this bully was ruthless. Locker shoves, he would slap the books out of his hand. He started rumors about him. Hey, he uses onions as soap. But the school staff kept saying, we'll keep an eye on it. I'm not doing nothing. They just weren't taking it seriously. They didn't think he was telling the truth. After a while, are you sure you're not misinterpreting things? You keep reporting the same student every day. We need proof. I don't have proof. Well, that's too bad. Well, that spring, they installed cameras in the school, all throughout the hallways. The cameras were not installed for bullying. The superintendent just made the decision. Well, the first week the cameras are live, this kid was bullied every day. And at the end of the week, he goes to the office. It happened again. Every single day this week, he shoved me into the locker, he beat me up, he slapped the books out of my hands. Here we go again, we need proof. Well, this time you do. Remember? You guys installed cameras in the hallway. Oh, that's right. They checked the cameras, and they saw it. Every day that kid being bullied by the same bully he said he was being bullied by. And there was an investigation launched. The bully gets suspended for 2 weeks, and the school staff pulls him into the office and apologizes. I mean, finally, but that's still super messed up. He's 20 years old, still living at home. She's in college. That's me. She's got 5 younger siblings. Almost every single day, she is the one cooking, cleaning, and driving the kids around. In this house, that's just how it works. Well, one night she gets home late. Her class gets done at 7:30. Normally she's home by 8, but on this day she stayed to talk to the professor a bit. No big deal, right? But she came home late. Walks in the house around 9:15. I cannot believe you. Her mom is super mad. The sink's full of dishes. There's no dinner. One of the kids had to be picked up from practice by somebody else. The mom says, "You are absolutely useless." Excuse me? Her feelings were obviously hurt because she is definitely not useless. She does so much for her family every single day. Well, after her mom said that, she didn't fight. She just went right to bed. The next morning, she doesn't wake anybody up like she usually does. She doesn't drive anybody to school. And she doesn't make dinner that night. And then she does it again and again and again. And the house starts failing. Dishes are piling up, laundry doesn't get done, kids are missing school. Now everybody's angry at her. This is your fault. This is your fault. Useless. Milk. She realized all these things she was doing were expected of her. And when she stopped doing it, nobody stepped up to take over. They blame her. And shortly after that, she moved out. And her family hasn't talked to her since. That's messed up. These are the worst parents ever. In this house, certain words were banned. Like disgusting. If you said the word disgusting, you were grounded for a week. Obviously, no swear words. Bedroom doors had to stay open at all times. Only time they could be in a room with the door closed was the bathroom. This kid's parents hated Cartoon Network. They called it garbage. So yeah, super controlling parents, but one day it became completely out of hand. One day the parents decided that these kids were bad enough to deserve a real punishment. You've seen nothing yet. So the sister was 14, the brother was 12. The parents made them gather every single item in their bedroom. Clothes, pictures, diaries, toys, childhood keepsakes. Their parents made them bag this stuff up in trash bags. And then they marched them outside to a giant burn pile. March to the backyard. And item by item, they made the kids burn every single thing that they bagged up. Every memory, every photo, every childhood item, completely gone. The next day, they went out to see what was left, and it was just ashes. Their entire lives up to that point, ashes. So yeah, in my opinion, worst parents ever. Didn't leave the table until you finished your plate. The kid usually just tries to power through it, but he's tired. He doesn't want to do this anymore. So instead, he pretends to take bites and he puts the food into his pocket. Then after dinner, he sneaks upstairs. But he doesn't throw the food in the garbage because he's paranoid. He thinks his parents will find it and realize what he's doing. So instead, he hides it in the vents of the house. Didn't matter what food it was either. Mashed potatoes, chicken, vegetables, fish. Every night, a little bit more. Stuffy, the foodie. But his plate's always clean after dinner and his parents are happy. He's like, this is a solid deal, cowabunga baby. Well, a week and a half go by and yeah, the house begins to smell horrific. His parents think there's a dead animal in the attic. They hire someone to come look, but there's no dead animal. Then they have the carpets cleaned, then the walls cleaned. The last thing they got checked was the vents. The guy pulls it open, he's looking. Yeah, there's a bunch of old rotten food in the vents, and everything kind of comes to light. The parents find out what the kid's been doing, but they feel bad. They're like, oh my god, we were forcing you to eat. You weren't hungry, you shoved the food in the vents. We're horrible parents. Well, maybe, kinda. Why would you force your kid to eat? Regardless, that rule stopped, and the house still smells a little bit like fish. This kid had a fish allergy, and he always told his mom, Mom, I can't eat fish, I'm allergic. And he's not like die allergic, but if he has fish, he'll get sick. Headaches, vomiting. But his mom refuses to believe him. No, you're not. Eat the fish. She would force him to eat the fish, saying that he's not allergic, and then when he does eat it and gets sick, she gets annoyed. Oh my god, you're dramatic. Clean up after yourself. Well, one night, the mom's hosting a big dinner party. This kid is 9 years old. Everybody's eating. His mom hands him a fish fillet in front of all the guests. Here you go, sweetie. Eat this. Let me know how it is. Mom, I told you I can't eat fish. That's not true. That's not true, everybody. Eat the fish. That's when the kid realized, okay, I'm gonna eat the fish. He eats the fish. Everybody's watching. 10 minutes later, he walks back into the kitchen. Oh, did you like the fish? You want more, I bet, huh? No, Mom, I... Pukes all over the mom and the table. The guests are shocked. Oh my god! Clean up an aisle fish! Milk! Now you can see it in the mom's face. She wants to explode. Kid's like, do it, Mom. Everyone will see who you really are. But the mom can't. Not in front of all her guests. So she flips. Oh, my poor baby. I think you are allergic to fish. Let me go put you to bed. She then takes him upstairs and tucks him in and joins the party again. And from that day on, she never made him eat fish ever again. Hey, kid's a genius. When he was 10, his grandpa asked him, what do you want for your birthday? And he says, a brick. A brick? Why? Because my parents still have this super old TV. If I throw a brick at the TV, we'll have to get a new one. Oh, I'm just kidding. Maybe just some Pokemon cards or something. The grandpa just smiles and nods. A couple months later, this kid's birthday comes around, and there's a beautifully wrapped present on the table. Heavy, perfect corners. The kid opens it. Inside was a single brick. The grandpa's losing it. You're crazy. I can't believe you remembered. And the grandpa leans in and says real quiet to him, wait till your mom's in the kitchen and then waste the TV. So the kid's mom goes into the kitchen to grab the cake. The kid takes the brick, smashes it in the TV. TV is destroyed. What happened here? Now we gotta get a new TV. Yes. The grandpa took the blame for throwing the brick at the TV. I don't know why I did that. Then the kid says, it's okay, Mom. Please don't be mad at Grandpa. I'll help you pick out the new TV. Okay, fine. You're right. It's okay, Pops. You'll be okay. Just sit down and relax. I'll clean this up. The mom then leaves to grab the broom. Nice work, kid. I love you, Grandpa. What a nice story. This guy went to a friend's house for dinner. Everything was chill until the milk came out. It was a really big family. They were at the table. It was loud. Every single person there gets a glass of milk. And milk for you, 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 milk for me. Bruh. Well, then it starts getting weird. The dad reaches over and grabs his son's milk. Hey, son, let me see your cup. I'm done with mine. And he pours his leftover milk into his son's cup. Then the mom decides she's done with her milk. So she pours her milk into her daughter's cup. And this just keeps going. When everyone decides they're done drinking milk, they pour it into somebody else's cup. So like milky backwash just rotating through everybody. Now the guest, he's just like, what is going on here? If someone finishes their milk and they want more, I want some more milk, Mom. Oh, that's perfect. I'm done with mine. I'll give you it. She just pours it into his cup. At this house, milk does not get wasted. It does not get poured down the sink. It gets recycled. And if everybody at the table is done with their milk, but there's still milk in the cups, they pour that milk back in the carton. And my friends, that is absolutely disgusting. This is nuts. So one day, this kid slapped another student with a ruler. Hey, Billy, Everybody laughs. Even he did. Nobody gets in trouble. Well, for some reason, witnessing this kid slap another kid with a ruler ignited something in them. Because the next day, tons of kids came to school with their own rulers. Of all different kinds. Wood ones, metal ones, plastic ones. And just like that, the hallways turn into medieval combat zones. My turn! Mr. Kevin, no! Milk. School staff started confiscating rulers from everybody, but there was so many kids with rulers, it was very hard to do so. And just like that, another ban. The school banned rulers. If anybody was caught with a ruler, it was taken and they would get a detention. If they were caught 3 times with a ruler, they would get suspended. Now you might be asking, hey, Elliot, what about the classes where rulers are required, like geometry or something? Well, those teachers would pass the rulers out at the beginning of class and collect them at the end. But still, these kids must have been obsessed with rulers, because that sounds crazy. It's testing week at this one middle school. Normally, kids have the Chromebooks open all day during class, or they're using the school iPad. And as you can imagine, the kids have TikTok tabs open, they're playing games, YouTube is paused somewhere. Well, this week, the teacher says, no Chromebooks or iPads all week this week. The kids are like, what? She then says, we're just gonna be watching movies. Now, when I was in school, that would be the best thing you could hear. There'd be cheering. But this room goes tense. So we're just gonna sit here and stare at nothing? Miss, we're gonna be so bored. This is stupid. Yeah, this is actually messed up. They then start calling the teacher horrible names. You're a frickin' loser, idiot. Piece of crap. Yeah, I hope you die. It escalates and escalates. One kid flips a desk. Enough! The teacher then grabs the school police liaison. He comes in and shuts this entire debauchery down. Every student in that class gets into big trouble. Because what the heck is the matter with them? Are kids really that obsessed with the screens these days? Maybe I'm old. But like I said, all I know, movie days when I was in school, the best. His name was Frog Boy, and he was the weird kid at this one school. Froggy, Puggy Wuggy. Every single day before class, he would be in the woods behind the school, catching frogs, lizards, and raising tadpoles in a Home Depot bucket. Grow, little tadpoles. Grow into frogs. And every day he would walk into class smelling like pond water. Yo, Frog Boy smells extra froggy today. But in class, he would have so much pent-up energy. He couldn't sit still, and every single teacher knew this. Kevin, why don't you go take a lap around the school, okay? Okay. They would often let him leave school and run around the building and come back to tire himself out. In different classes, other kids would be doing math, and they would look out the window to see Frog Boy running by. 2 plus 2 is 6. He would also just do crazy stuff. Like one week, he super glued all the woodshop tools to the wall. It's a masterpiece. My tools! Another week, he went into the kitchen and spread flour everywhere. It looks like it snowed in here. My kitchen! And it was like that for a long time. Well, fast forward years later. One of his old classmates is at home scrolling through his phone when he stumbles on a viral motocross clip. Yo, that's sick. It's a clip of a guy on a dirt bike going off this huge ramp and doing a backflip. That's when the old classmate realizes, wait, that's frickin' Frog Boy! Frog Boy was now a professional motocross rider, and he was very rich. I'm just happy he used his energy for something awesome like that. Hey, go Frog Boy. At this school, snacks were allowed, but certain snacks were banned, like hot Cheetos, Takis, and anything sour. And the school wasn't joking about this either. If you got caught with them, that was a detention immediately. Is this Sour Patch Kids? Yes? Detention! So them being this illegal made kids want them more. So one kid's sitting back looking at the situation. He's like, okay, so these snacks are basically illegal, but everybody wants them. And he commits. He goes to the store, and his bedroom becomes a storage. Boxes, drawers, bags, all full of these banned snacks. Every morning, he would grab a small handbag, nothing too crazy, and he would put a bunch of these snacks in there. He would then take it to school. And he's not selling openly. He's being very discreet about this. Between classes, quick handoffs, and it blows up. People are nervous buying them. Hey, bro, let me get some Takis and sour gummies. Got you. Everybody's paranoid. So he makes it very clear. Every time he does a sale, he says this: if you're caught with this, that's on you. If you snitch, that's a whole different issue. And standing by him every single time is his best friend. Big buff dude. He never talked much. If you snitch, he'll find you, and he'll get you. Yeah, and nobody snitched. For a while, one kid did, and he wasn't caught with candy or in the act of buying it. He snitched because he was petty. He was jealous of this kid's business and he wanted to shut it down himself, so he did. And there was a huge investigation launched, and that kid who started this business was expelled. That's too much. When this kid was a toddler, his mom would keep him on a leash in the yard. She would clip it on him, and then she would tie the leash to something in the yard. And she let him play while she did the dishes. Well, one day he's sitting in the yard and he's eating ants straight off of an anthill. Just literally grabbing them and eating them like they're freaking popcorn. Well, that's when he gets curious. So he takes a handful of this anthill and starts stuffing his pockets. He's stuffing his pockets with ants so he can have a snack for later. This kid then takes the harness off of himself and begins walking towards the street. Just him, free, with a pocket full of ants. The mom sees this and goes outside to start to get him, but as he reaches the road, a van pulls up. This dude opens the van and grabs him and puts him in the van. Yeah, kid, get in, kid. There's another guy inside. There's a guy driving the van and another guy in the back seat. So now it's this dude, the kid, and the other dude sitting in the back seat. Now his mom is losing it. The car peels off. She's screaming, chasing his van. But inside the car, everything changes. The guy who grabbed them starts screaming. What? No, get him off me! Get him off me! He's thrashing, panicking, because guess what happened? This toddler's pockets, like I said, were full of ants. And now they're everywhere in the van. This guy loses it. He just yanks open the van door and throws this kid into a ditch. Car's gone. The mom finds the kid moments later, alive, well, covered in ants, and eating them. And honestly, that's the craziest story I have ever heard. This family thought chairs make you lazy, so they were forced to always stand when they were eating. Breakfast, standing at the counter. Lunch, standing around the island. Dinner, standing around the table with the entire family. And they were supposed to eat fast. They were trying to be efficient, I guess. Once they were done, they would clean their plates and they would move on. Well, this kid grew up this way and he never questioned it. Why would he? That's how he thought meals worked. Then he's at his friend's house for dinner one night. And he's confused. He's standing there. The dad's like, you can sit down, buddy. What are you doing? Okay. So he sits. They talk. They laugh. They linger and they eat their food at their own pace. He's like amazed. You good, bro? Yeah, this is just different. In a good way. He realized that his family was the weird one. Like a lot of these stories, this happens. After dinner, he goes back home and he goes to his room and cries because, what? He's been standing for every single meal, eating as fast as he can, being super stressed out because his parents are crazy. But actually, you can just sit there and enjoy your food and be with people and laugh. For the first time in his life, he was relaxed during a meal, and that meant a lot to him. Now, it's years later, and sometimes when he's stressed, he finds himself standing and eating, but he always tries to breathe, take a seat, and just enjoy those dang potatoes. It's a sleepover at his friend's house. They're sitting down talking when somebody mentions a microwave. I almost microwaved my fork. That would have been crazy. Why would that be crazy? Everyone's like, you can't microwave metal, man. You didn't know that? No, and I've never tried. They explain to him that it's bad to microwave metal. Like fire hazard bad. Well, they all go to sleep, and this kid's laying there. He can't stop thinking about it. Metal, microwave. Microwave, metal, metal, microwave, metal. Metal, metal, microwave, milk, metal. He just can't let it go. Staring at the ceiling, he decides, I need to find out for myself. So he goes into the kitchen of his friend's house, opens the silverware drawer, grabs a handful of forks, knives, and spoons, puts it in the microwave, and presses start. For the first 3 seconds, nothing happens. But then, crackling, sparks, a flash bright as the sun, and then flames. The microwave is now fully engulfed in flames, and the cabinets start on fire. Fire alarms are going off. Everybody in the house wakes up and they go outside. The fire trucks arrive and they're putting this fire out. Luckily, it's not too bad. The kitchen was pretty messed up though, but the entire neighborhood was outside in their pajamas watching this thing happen. And obviously, they found out who did it. Bro, we just told you about metal in the microwave. I had to see it. And that, my friends, is nuts. After class one day, a teacher tells him, tomorrow I need you to come to my office hours. Oh, like right after school? Yes. And he's actually excited. At home, he tells his mom, I got a thing for class tomorrow after school. He tells her it's office hours, and he thinks it's a party.
Ooh, office hours. That sounds fun. Let's go to Costco. We'll have you get some cookies to bring. So they go to Costco. She buys some cookies, chips, some plates. Next day after school, he's walking down the hallway with a plastic bag full of these snacks, and he's excited. He knocks on the teacher's door, smiling, and he goes in. I didn't know how many people were coming, so I brought extra. What? She looks at the food, looks at him. What are you talking about? Office hours. She closes the door quietly and says, we're here to talk about your failing grade. It's not a party? No. He sits down, defeated. He talks to the teacher, and they have a plan to fix his failing grade. And as he's about to leave, all right, well, thanks. I guess I should go do my homework. And wait! I can't let you waste all the food. Let's bring out the cookies and the chips. Let's have a little party, just us two. Okay. And for the next 15 minutes, they sat there and ate cookies and chips and just chatted like two human beings. And then he went on his way. Hey, actually, that's a good teacher. She's on her first date at this guy's place, and he's cooking dinner. What's for dinner? Food. Now his place has this rustic cabin vibe. Wooden floors, dim lights. There's a weird smell that she noticed, but she thinks it's just an old house. I'm noticing a weird smell. It's probably because it's an old house. Well, at that moment, this guy's dog walks into the room and just unloads a 30-second pee right in the middle of the floor. She's trying to get his attention. Stop. No. Your dog, he's peeing. He doesn't turn around, he just says, oh yeah, he does that sometimes. Well, then she asks if there's a towel she can help him clean up the pee. Since you're cooking, I can clean it up. But he says this, nah, you can just leave it. I'll spray some Febreze on it later, let it dry by itself. And that's when it hits her. The smell wasn't the cabin. That soft spot on the floor wasn't just old wood. It was the dog's bathroom. And dogs sometimes pee inside, but he never cleaned his dog's pee up. He just put Febreze on it. She politely sat there and ate dinner. Then she leaves and never texts him ever again. That's nasty. She told him to wash the car, and she gave him a bucket and a sponge. You should be all set. All right, I'm on it, Mom. So he goes outside with the bucket and the sponge. He sets the bucket right next to the car. I'm gonna put you right here. Then he goes to the side of the house and grabs the hose. Okay, got the hose. And he begins dragging the hose over to the bucket by the car. All right. But the hose is not long enough. It doesn't reach. Ah, great. So he turns on the water. Fill this bucket up, but how am I gonna do it? Just gonna launch it from here. And he begins spraying the hose and trying to arch it into this water bucket. Come on. But the bucket keeps tipping over. Come on. Not again. He adjusts his stance. He changes the angle of the hose. He's trying to find the best way to fill this bucket. But this kid didn't realize that he could just take the bucket and bring it to the hose and then bring the bucket back to the car. Like, at no point does that enter his brain. His mom's watching him through the window. I raised an idiot. I mean, yeah, kinda.
She planned her son's birthday party. He was turning 13. She was a single mom. She wasn't wealthy, she was just getting by. And her son's birthday lands right next to Christmas. So most years he doesn't get much, but like I said, he's turning 13 years old. It's a milestone, so she saved up. She was gonna plan him an awesome birthday with his friends. Batting cages, cake, games, food, a scavenger hunt with a cash prize. She pulled out 4 $5 bills earlier that week to use for the scavenger hunt. Well, on the last day of school, before this kid's birthday party, there was an event at school that she gave her son $5 for. Later that day, her son's friend comes over to hang out briefly. After they leave the house to go play around in the neighborhood, she goes to the kitchen and sees her purse sitting there, and her wallet is open. And she is convinced there's a $5 bill missing from her wallet. What the heck is this? She calls her son, did you take $5 from my wallet? He says no. She asks if his friend took it. He says no, my friend didn't take it. And she's convinced he's lying about this, but he's sticking to his guns. I promise you, Mom, I didn't take it and neither did my friend. This is crazy. Well, I just don't believe you, so your birthday party is canceled. I already called the batting cages. It's over. All this over $5. $5 that she might have just lost herself. Maybe her son didn't actually take it. But she canceled his 13th birthday party anyway, and I think that's pretty messed up. How about you?
Every night at 8 p.m., this kid's parents would shut off the internet. It didn't matter what he was doing. And to turn it back on, you had to have the password. Homework, group projects, whatever, it didn't matter. At 8 p.m., the Wi-Fi was getting shut down. At first, he's mad. Like, this is not fair. But then he realizes the neighbor's Wi-Fi signal is very strong. And they're very old. So there wasn't a Wi-Fi password. He begins doing his homework on their Wi-Fi by his bedroom window. Okay, perfect. It works. But then, like, winter hits and the signal gets worse for some reason. Dang it, connect, send! Don't! He starts getting closer and closer to the neighbor's house. He begins sitting on his front porch, then outside their windows. This goes on for weeks. Sometimes the signal's better, sometimes it's horrible. Until one night, the signal was very bad, so he was sitting directly underneath their bedroom window. He didn't know it was their bedroom, but another neighbor saw it. What is that creep doing? And yeah, I guess it would look pretty creepy, this dude sitting outside the neighbor's window with a laptop. In the dark, the police get called, the cop shows up, he explains to them, I'm using their Wi-Fi. Mine gets cut off at 8 p.m. by my parents. I have homework to do. The cop's not even mad at him. He's like, where are your parents? The parents come out. The cop says, you shut off the Wi-Fi at 8 p.m.? He's got homework to do. Look what he's doing! He shames the parents. And the parents are very embarrassed because, yeah, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Nobody gets in trouble that day, and the parents stopped turning the Wi-Fi off. That's just wild. This family thought, chairs make you lazy. So, they were forced to always stand when they were eating. Breakfast, standing at the counter. Lunch, standing around the island. Dinner, standing around the table with the entire family. And they were supposed to eat fast. They were trying to be efficient, I guess. Once they were done, they would clean their plates and they would move on. Well, this kid grew up this way and he never questioned it. Why would he? That's how he thought meals worked. Then he's at his friend's house for dinner one night. And he's confused. He's standing there. The dad's like, you can sit down, buddy. What are you doing? Okay. So he sits. They talk. They laugh. They linger and they eat their food at their own pace. He's like amazed. You good, bro? Yeah, this is just different. In a good way. He realized that his family was the weird one. Like a lot of these stories, this happens. After dinner, he goes back home and he goes to his room and cries because, what? He's been standing for every single meal, eating as fast as he can, being super stressed out because his parents are crazy. But actually, you can just sit there and enjoy your food and be with people and laugh. For the first time in his life, he was relaxed during a meal, and that meant a lot to him. Now, it's years later, and sometimes when he's stressed, he finds himself standing and eating, but he always tries to breathe, take a seat, and just enjoy those dang potatoes. Started small. This kid brought a few things from home that day. A headphones, a hoodie, and some random collectibles. And somebody jokingly goes, I'll trade you my Jordans for those headphones. He says, okay. And that's the moment it clicks. The next day he comes to school and that duffel bag he brought of stuff is heavier. And he starts telling people during lunch to meet him in the bathroom. And everything he had was up for trade. Okay, guys, line up. Here's what I got. What do you got? And the value is negotiated right there on the spot. A hoodie for a watch for AirPods, AirPods for a portable speaker shaped like SpongeBob SquarePants, a portable speaker shaped like SpongeBob SquarePants for a porcelain plate that someone stole from their grandma's house that's worth a lot of money. Okay, I think we all did good today. We happy? Yep. Perfect. By week 3, there's a huge line of people holding random objects trying to trade with this kid, because the best part is you were never sure what he was going to bring. Some of the stuff that was traded included shoes in a plastic bag, electronics, gift cards, jewelry. Bro, that's a PlayStation 5. I know. Now, say you wanted something nice, but the thing you had to trade didn't equal the value. Okay, I'll trade you this for that, but tomorrow you gotta bring me something else to make it even. Deal. So now there's credit on the line. And that's when it gets dangerous, because if someone didn't follow up with their end of the deal, there was arguing, fights, full-blown bathroom brawls. And then came the bandits. Bigger kids that stormed into the bathroom one day and stole everything. Hey, Pipsqueak, give us the stuff. I knew I should have hired security. That's another lesson. Always hire security. The school then gets involved in a pretty major way. Suspensions, confiscations, meetings with parents who are finding out for the first time that their kid traded their family heirloom for a frickin' SpongeBob speaker. That bathroom was closed down for the rest of the year. But nobody ever forgot that underground trading post in the school bathroom.
আসতে বলুন না, সেটা আমার একটু জরুরি কথা আছে।
বাবা
ভাই আমি তো এলাকা ছাড়ার আগে
তুমি একটা গিরাট্টুটা ছেলে, যেই ছেলে তানিয়া আমার পিস্তলটা নিয়ে আয় তো।
টাকা কি দুধটা রাইখে গেলাম।
মাত্র সে ফেসবুকে স্ট্যাটাস দিয়েছে সে একটি অনাথ বাচ্চাকে
কত স্যাক্রিফাইস করছি, এলাকার বড় ভাই থেকে রিক্সা চালক হয়ে গেলাম, আর সেটাই করবো। যে গরম না, আর এই বড় ভাই তোর মায়ের চিকিৎসার দায়িত্ব নিছে। সেলিম ভাই ভালোবাসার লেগে জেল খাটছিল, ভাই আপনি যত কথাই
এই বাড়িতে ওই বদমাইশটার কথা একবারও ভুলে উচ্চারণ করবা না।
ভাই মিনিমাম আপনি 17 লাইন একটা কবিতা লেখেন, 17 লাইনের কবিতা
কিন্তু ছাপাই না, সব মাথার ভিতরে থাকে। যখন পড়তে ইচ্ছা করে মাথা, আমি জানো ওরে বাপ করে দেবো। আর আমি কি কমো জানো, কমু তানিয়া বলাবো কেমনে বেটা, কস না কেন, বেটা।
এটা পড়ে আপনার প্রেমে পুরো উপ করে পড়ে যাবো।
আর তো
আপনি পারবেন ভাই, আপনি পারবেন।
ও 700 লাইন লিখবো, আর বাদ বাকি 300 লাইন আমি লেখা বলাম।
একটু নামিয়ে দাও, মানে ও ছাড়া পাক না পাক তাতে আমাদের কি?
কি খবর তোমাদের? কেমন আছো তোমরা সবাই? ভালো তো না? তুমি জানো তোমায় কালকে একটা কতবার কল দিচ্ছি।
হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। কি রে হৃদয়, তুহিন মানা করতেছি।
কিছু না কিছু। ভাবি আপনি জানেন আমি একবার অসুস্থ হয়ে গেছিলাম, ও আমাকে রক্ত দেয়নি, আর আজকে আপনাকে রক্ত দিয়ে চিঠি লিখছে।
আমাকে বুকিং দিছে মানে আমাকে কে বুকিং দিছে দোস্ত?
তোর যে আশিক আছে না, এখন তো আমার পিছনে লাগছে।
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা? কেমন আছো তুমি?
ভালো।
আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করবো না রক্তটা দিবি তুই? আমি কেন রক্ত দেবো? প্রেম খরচ তুই, রক্ত
আমার বন্ধু জিসন আপনাকে অনেক ভালোবাসে ভাবি, আপনার ওর রক্ত যাওয়াটা বিধে হতে দিবেন না ভাবি।
073421924 এটা তোমার নাম্বার না?
জি জি, আপনি কেমন আছেন?
ভালো নেই, আমি ভালো নেই। আমিও তোর মতোই ভাবতেছি, রক্ত যদি দিঠা যায়, মানে রক্তটা
আপনার কাছে এইটা আমার লাস্ট রিকোয়েস্ট ভাবি।
আচ্ছা,
কখন আসবে তোদের ভাবেই আর ভালো লাগতেছে না আমার। সে যে কেন এলো
বাদ কবিতা লিখতে হইব কয় লাইন লেখছস দে নাহলে কিন্তু আমি তোকে পিটামু দে তাদের
লাগতে হইব না ভাই, এটা স্যার আপনি যেটা করবেন এটা করবো। কোন খারাপই করে কিন্তু কবিতা লিখতে পারবো না।
কোনো মাপ নাই।
এটা পড়ে আপনার প্রেমে পুরো রূপ করে পড়ে যাবো।
আর তোর
আপনি পারবেন ভাই, আপনি পারবেন।
এত কিছু ফালানোর সিস্টেম জানোস আর প্রেমে ফালানোর সিস্টেম জানোস না, কথা তো একেবারে ফালায় দেওয়ার মতো না। আগে যদি তোরা গুলিও করস আগে সালামটা তুই আনো।
আপনার ছেলেকে আমার এত পছন্দ হয়েছে যে আমি তো বিয়েতে রাজি হয়ে গেছি।
বছরও পড়বো না।
আমি তোমাকে চ্যালেঞ্জ দিলাম, তুমি যদি 7
মাস্তানি মুস্তানি অপরাধ, এই 7 দিন খালি খাবি আর
এরকম পট্টি দিয়ে রাখছস কেন?
আমি চাই এই মহৎ কাজটার সাথে আপনি থাকেন। আমাদেরকে 100
দুনিয়ার খাসা বেটা। হ্যাঁ, আরে বেটা বড় ভাইয়ের মতো একটা বড় ভাই মানে টুকুর।
কিন্তু ছাপাই না, সব মাথার ভিতরে থাকে। যখন পড়তে ইচ্ছা করে মাথা আমি জানো ওরে বাপ করে দেব। আর আমি কি কমো জানো তবু তানিয়া ভালো কেমনে বেটা কস না কেন বেটা
তোমার আমি আসলে ফুল দাও দেয় আচর করে বুঝতেছি।
গর্জন করলেই সবকিছু অর্জন হয় না, বুঝছস?
তানিয়া শুধু ভাত কেন?